study about how the algae is differ from plants and how they are similar with respect to higher plants like angiosperms. As already similarities, if you consider, almost all the plants, higher plants, are having the definite cell wall. Similarly, the organisms, that is the members belonging to the algae, were also made up of a cell wall, and that cell wall is made up of cellulosic material. Hence, the algal members are having a definite cell wall, and plants are also having a definite cell wall. And with respect to cell wall, plants and algal members are having similarity. And another consider primary characteristic feature we can consider here, they almost all the members of algae, they are autotrophic in nature. It means the organisms which are able to synthesize their own food, they are called as autotrophic organisms. And this autotrophic character of an algae, it is because of characteristic feature called chlorophyll, and that chlorophyll, presence of chlorophyll, make these organisms as autotrophs. And as these are autotrophs, and we are going to consider them as primary producers. With respect to ecological classification is considered, we are going to classify the organisms are producers, consumers, and decomposers. And these members, that is algal members, are the primary producer in nature. Even plants also, they are producers, primary producers, as because they carry out the photosynthesis, and through this photosynthesis, phenomena of photosynthesis, they were going to provide the food. And the presence of chlorophyll A in both angiosperms as well as angiosperms, I mean higher plants as well as algal members, chlorophyll A is present. Hence, because of presence of that cell wall, and these are the autotrophic in nature, and they are having the cell wall, that is considered as the similar characteristic features that we are going to consider with respect to plants. And another distinguishing character that we can observe, the difference with respect to higher plants and algae, it is considered algae lack the roots. They are devoid of roots, stems, leaves, and other structure, typical structure as present in case of higher plants. If you consider the higher plants, there we are going to observe the root, stem, leaves are present. But in case of alga, they are primitive organisms. They are made up of a thallus organization. And because of thallus organization, the algal members lack roots. They are divided of algae roots irangilla, stems irudilla, leaves irudilla, and other structures typical like the flowers, fruits were not developed as in case of higher plants. And another most important difference, these algae do not have vascular tissues, and hence because these are called as a non-vascular plants. As already mentioned that the vascular tissue present in case of higher plants is xylem and phloem. The phloem is in a food conducting tissue and xylem is in a water conducting tissue. And these two, xylem and phloem, were completely absent in the members of the algae, hence they are included under non-vascular plants. And as already mentioned, algae do not form embryo within the protective covering. All cells are fertile. There in the higher plants, soon after formation of zygote, the embryo is going to be formed. But in case of algal members, soon after formation of zygote, it undergoes repeated division that develops into a new organism. But in case of algae, there is no formation of embryo. And we are going to observe there is a lot of differences that we are going to observe with respect to pigments, variation in pigments. Based on this pigment, we are going to classify the entire algal kingdom into 7 groups. That is, some algal members are having brown color and some algal members are having the red pigmentation. Like that, we are going to observe the variation with respect to pigmentation. And variation in cell structure, that is, the organisms are unicellular in nature, colonial in nature, and multicellular forms. And these differences with respect to cell structure were not observed in case of higher plants. And these are some differences that we come across with the alga as well as the higher plants. And if you consider the characteristics of algae, soon after observing The characteristic features of the are differences and similarities existed between the plant and algae. It is necessary to understand the characteristic features of algae. Here we are going to observe with respect to size of an algae is considered. We are going to observe the algals were ranged from microscopic single-celled organism to large seaweeds. We need to have a microscope for observation of some alga. They are single cell or unicellular alga, and we are going to observe the largest seaweeds like Ectocarpus, Cara. There are many more algal, Gracilaria, Geladium. There are largest algal members that we are going to observe. That is, alga ranges from microscopic to macroscopic in size. And as already mentioned, they are autotrophic because they contain a chlorophyll molecule, hence they are called as autotrophic in nature. And with respect to reproductive structures is considered, we are going to observe they are having a specialized structure that is called as gametangia, or what we are going to consider them as gamete chambers. And these alga are usually aquatic in nature and have a flagella at some points in their life cycle. Some alga may divide a flagella, but some alga are having a flagella. Either the reproductive structures like gametes bear a flagella to swim in a water to reach the opposite sex organs. That is, usually a male gametes bears a flagella to reach the female organ, that is oogonium. Then another most important structure that we are going to observe with respect to alga, pyrenoids. These are the pyrenoids are the specialized structures associated with the chlorophyll or chloroplast, and it synthesizes, stores the starch material. Pyrenoids are actively involved in the synthesis of starch as well as storage of starch. This is a very important characteristic features that we need to consider. And with respect to structure of an alga is considered, they are basically thalloid in nature. They are basically haploid structures. And based on the nature or structure of alga, algas were classified into 4 different types. That is unicellular alga, colonial alga, filamentous alga, as well as multicellular alga. From unicellular to multicellular, there is a transition zone, and that zone is represented by colonial as well as even filamentous alga is also multicellular, sometimes unicellular pseudofilamentous structures that we are going to observe. And this colonial alga may be multicellular in nature, and it forms many unicellular alga forms in a group, and that is called as colonial alga. We are going to difference thallus of an organism is differentiated into unicellular, made up of single cell. Colonial alga, it's made up of many cells, but they are occur in a group or in a colony. And filamentous alga, and then we are going to observe the multicellular alga. And as already mentioned that the differences, then we are going to observe there are, again, we can classify the alga into 2 different groups, prokaryotic and eukaryotic alga. And if you look into the prokaryotic alga, there is no nuclear reason. As you know well, the prokaryotes as well as eukaryotes, the group of organisms which divide off a well-defined nucleus, they are called as prokaryotic organisms. If they are having well-defined nucleus, then we are going to call them as the eukaryotic members. Here, the alga both are having eukaryotic nature as well as prokaryotic nature. That is, when we say alga is a prokaryote and it is having no nuclear reason and it is divide off the complex organelles. The complex organelles there is no chloroplast, there is no mitochondria, there are no Golgi bodies and endoplasmic reticulum. And these are absent in case of prokaryotic algal members. And if we consider cyanobacteria, and chlorophylls are on internal membranes of flattened vesicles called thylakoids contain photosynthetic pigments, but they are not the chloroplast. Cyanobacteria also prokaryotic in nature, but they contain a chlorophyll. That chlorophyll is not present in a specified organelle like chloroplast. Chloroplast iridilla, but it is present in the internal membrane of the flattened vesicles, and those flattened vesicles are suspended directly in the cytoplasmic mass. They were referred as thylakoids. And we are going to observe phycobilin proteins occur in a granular structures. They are called as phycobilisomes. These are the two structures that we are going to observe with respect to the members of prokaryotic alga. Here we are going to observe these are the phycobilisomes, that is the structures. Phycobilin protein attached to the granular structures. These are called phycobilisomes, and we are going to observe elongated structures or internal vesicular flattened structures. They are associated with the chloroplast. They are called as the thylakoids, and it is having the wall, then cyanophysian pigments that we are going to observe, carboxysome that we are going to observe, carbon dioxide digesting or metabolic activity of the carbon occurs in the carboxysome, and DNA fibrils. And this DNA is directly suspended in the cytoplasmic mass, hence we are going to consider it as a false nucleus or incipient nucleus. And here we are going to observe, if you observe the phycobilisome structure, there we are going to observe the phycoerythrin protein, that is the red protein. A red protein, it is referred as phycoerythrin, and this is the thylakoid membrane. And this thylakoid membrane, and at the base of this phycobilisome, we are going to observe the two other proteins, that is allophyocyanin and phycocyanin. The blue pigments, dark blue pigments are called as the phycocyanins. Light blue pigments were called as allophycocyanin pigments, and these were forming the base of the phycobilisomes, and the arms of the phycobilisome is formed by the red pigment called phycoerythrin, and these phycobilisomes were attached onto the surface of the thylakoid membrane, and this thylakoid contains a chlorophyll pigment. And this is what I was mentioned. Then prokaryotic and eukaryotic algae, if we consider, eukaryotic alga, it is having a distinct chloroplast, but there in the prokaryotic alga, there is no distinct chloroplast. And here we are going to observe the nuclear region that we are going to observe, and complex organelles like chloroplast, mitochondria were present. That chloroplast is represented with thylakoids were organized to form a group that is called as grana. Grana ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ structure ಇರ್ತದೆ, and we are going to observe another specific structure of eukaryotic alga, the presence of pyrenoids. And this is the chloroplast, and this chloroplast is associated with thylakoids. These thylakoids were forming a stalk-like structure, and within that chloroplast we are going to observe the pyrenoid, and these pyrenoids are the centers of carbon dioxide fixation within the chloroplast of the algae, and we are going to hornworts. Hornworts means the members of the bryophytes. These pyrenoids are not membrane-bound organelles, but specialized areas of plastids. The pyrenoids membrane-bound organelles alla, but they are present in the chloroplast, and they contain higher level of ribulose by 1,5 biphosphate. That is ribulose, RUBP ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. Ribulose 1,5 biphosphate carboxylase oxygenase enzyme is present in that pyrenoid, and that pyrenoid helps for the fixation of carbon dioxide. And while fixing the carbon dioxide, we are going to observe the synthesis and storage of the starch material, and this is the granum with a stack of thylakoids. This is the granum with a stack of thylakoids found in case of eukaryotic algae. Then the forms of algae, if you, as already mentioned, basically body of an algae, it is called as thallus. Now what is thallus then? Undifferentiated plant body, or if we are failed to differentiate the plant body into root, stem and leaves, then it is called as thallus. Undifferentiated plant body which grows along the surface of the soil is called as a thallus. And this thallus of an alga associated with the characteristic features that we need to consider here. It is having diversity in morphology. That what is diversity in morphology? They are having different structures, like they are microscopic in nature, and in the microscopic we are going to observe unicellular, colonial, filamentous forms, and this is the unicellular alga Chlamydomonas, and it is microscopic in nature. And we are going to observe this is the unicellular microscopic but colonial alga. We are going to observe the microscopic alga, they are having diversity with respect to morphology. Morphology is nothing but study of external features, the branch of biological science which deals with the study of external character, that is called as morphology. And these algae are having a lot of differences with respect to external character that we are going to observe. Microscopic character, unicellular like Chlamydomonas, colonial like Volvox. Then we are going to observe filamentous like the Spirogyra, Eudogonium. We are going to observe this is the Spirogyra filamentous, but it is microscopic in nature. And similarly, we are going to observe the macroalgae, the algae which we can observe through the naked eye, but we are going to observe usually in the sea water, that is macroscopic alga. The alga which we can visualize through naked eye, they are called as macroscopic alga. This is what we are going to observe. And this is the microalgae, Chlamydomonas, that we are going to observe. This is the one of the alga that we need to have microscope for their observation. And unicells, single cellular alga, the entire algae made up of only one cell. This is an example of diatom. And this diatom is made up of only one alga, single cells. They are motile with a flagellate, like in case of Chlamydomonas, as I said. Chlamydomonas, they are motile in nature, and that motility is associated with the flagella. But in case of diatoms, they are non-motile in nature because they are lacking the flagella. They are non-motile. They are running along with the water current. It means unicellular alga may associated with the flagella or may not associated with the flagella. And for example, the unicellular alga with the flagella like Chlamydomonas and Euglena, and non-motile without flagella, example we are having diatoms. And the alga which we are going to observe multicellular, and here we are going to observe the different forms of the multicellular structures that we are going to observe. The first and foremost thing we need to consider here it is colonies. What the colonies means? The assemblage of, here we are going to observe, this is one cell, this is another cell, this is another cell. These are basically unicellular alga, and these unicellular alga were going to be assemblage of individual cells with variable constant number of cells remain constant throughout the colony in a mucilaginous matrix. Here, this is outer covering. What we are going to consider it is mucilaginous matrix, and in this mucilaginous matrix, a definite number of cells were organized throughout life cycle. For example, if we are observing 4 throughout its life cycle, only 4 cells were maintained in this alga. That is, we are going to consider assemblage of individual cells with variable or constant number of cells that remain constant throughout the colony life in mucilaginous matrix. That mucilaginous matrix, it is an extracellular matrix made up of glycoprotein. ಈ mucilage ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರ್ತದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ glycoprotein. So that glycoprotein forms a mucilage cover over the cells, and because of that mucilage, we are going to observe the colonies. Again, colonies may be motile or colonies may be non-motile. For example, if we consider motile Volvox and Pandorina, they are the motile colonies, and non-motile colonies, this is the Sunidesmus and Pediastrium. This is Pediastrum, and this is Sunidesmus, and this is the Pandorina. And this we are going to observe. They may be, even they are in a colony, they may be motile colony like Volvox and Pandorina, or sometimes they are non-motile like Sunidesmus and Pediastrum. And Cenobial, this is also colonial alga. Here we are going to, what is cenobium with a hollow space. Now, if you look into the cricket ball, and at the center, when you cut it open the cricket ball, there we are at the center there is a hollow space, and around that we are going to observe presence of the plastic or the other material, synthetic material is coated with a hollow cavity. In the similar fashion, some algal members are having hollow cavity, but it is enclosed by a group of cells. That is, colony with a constant number of cells which cannot survive alone. All the cells are failed to survive individually, and they were going to form a colony, and that colony contains a fixed number of cells with little or no specialization. That we are going to observe again. The Volvox, rolling alga and the Volvox is called as rolling alga, and this rolling alga is an example for cenobial type of algae. And another that we need to consider, aggregations. What that aggregation is, Cells that have ability to simple division, that aggregations are in several types. So it's colony but unconstant in form and size. The difference between the cenobium and colony is, here it is, there were many cells were going to form a group or aggregation, but they are not definite. And indefinite size and form that we are included, and scientists were included under aggregations. Aggregations is aggregation of cell that have ability to simple division. That aggregations are in several types. That is pomeloid form. Here we are going to observe the pomeloid forms are non-motile cells embedded in the mucilage. This is the pomeloid. Here we are going to observe tetraspora. Example, pomeloid form, non-motile cells embedded in the mucilage. Example, tetraspora. And we are going to another dendroid form. These dendroid forms where the group of alga, they are resembling a tree in a pattern or growth. If we consider the morphological structure, it appears like a tree, but it is not a tree, or the pattern of growth of an alga is similar to that of the tree. Here we are going to observe this is the basic branch and it is split into two, again split into, that is dichotomous branching structure that we are going to observe. And this type of algal members were considered as dendrobial forms. Pomeloid form, dendroid form pomeloidally, there are many cells which were aggregate and they are non-motile in nature. And some were dendroid form, they are resembling the tree, but for or sometimes they are in the pattern of growth of a tree. Example, Dinobryon. This Dinobryon, it was named after Easton Weiss that we are going to observe. It was identified by the Prescott. Then we are going to observe amoeboid or rhizopodial forms such as Chlora ration. This is another alga. We are going to observe unorganized. It is having no definite structure. It appears like amoeba or rhizopodal organisms. Then another most important characteristic feature of an alga, that is filamentous alga, and this filamentous alga contains many cells and those cells were attached one over the other. One cell ಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು cell attach ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. This is the one cell attached over another cell and another cell attached over this cell. Like that we are going to observe. This is how we are going to observe. This is Chlorophyta, that is Chigmima, and this is the Cladophora, and this is the Apithophora. Here, the daughter cells remain attached after cell division and form a cell chain. Adjacent cells share cell wall, and this cell share the common cell wall between these two. And we are going to observe sometimes these filamentous structures may be unbranched. They are unbranched, or we call them as uniciliate, such as Gymnema dilatrix. Here, Gymnema, this is unbranched filamentous alga. Sometimes we were going to observe there may be a branch, as in case of Cladophora. Here we are going to observe this is how they are branching, and these were considered as multiciliate, such as Cladophora. And here in this branched form, we are going to observe regular branching and irregular branching. And in case of Cladophora, we are going to observe regular branching is observed at the nodal region, but in case of Apithophora, irregular branching with respect to multiciliate structure that we are observing in case of algal members. And this is cenocytic or siphonaceous forms, and these are almost filamentous in nature but without any partition. Here we are going to observe this is the filamentous alga, but there is no partition wall between the nucleus. Hence, these are considered as cenocytic filamentous, as in case of Wacheria. And this Wacheria forms a cross wall during the formation of reproductive structures, but during the vegetative development, there is no cross wall. That we are going to observe one large multinucleate cell without cross wall, such as Wacheria. There are hundreds or thousands of nucleus were present in the single elongated filamentous alga without cross wall. That cross wall is going to be formed only during the reproduction. Such type of alga are called as cenocytic algal members. And here we are going to consider parenchymatous alga. That is, if you look into the seaweeds, example, ulva and parenchymatous alga, they are mostly macroscopic alga with the tissue of undifferentiated cells and growth originating from a meristem with cell division in 3 dimensions. This is example of parenchymatous alga, that is the ulva. Ulva ant karitara, alva antanu karitara, and this is a pseudoparenchymatous. As in case of Batrachospermum, you are going to observe this Batrachospermum in the laboratory. There we are going to observe at the nodal region, the branches were going to be produced. Within that branch, we are going to observe the reproductive structures. And these pseudoparenchymatous superficially resembles the parenchyma, but they are composed of upraised filaments. And here we are going to observe there are group of filaments were found in this, but it is basically when we look over there, we are going to observe it is parenchymatous like Kanasada, but it is not a parenchymatous, it is associated with the aggregated filaments. And example that we are going to observe Batrachospermum. And we need to consider here with respect to the algal members is consider erect thallus forms. Thallus may be erected from the soil surface, meaning that we are going to Latinize the Greek thallus meaning green, shoot or twig-like structure. Here we are going to observe chara. It grows in an erect fashion that we are going to observe. This is Nigella and this is Idugonium, and these were which are grow away from this is again chara that we are going to observe Nigella, and these chara and Nigella grow away from the soil surface and they are attached to the soil with the help of the holdfast. And if you look into the cellular organization, single cell analysis that we are going to observe each and every cell of an alga made up of the flagella. These are the flagella, and these flagella may be thin whiplash-like structures which are originated at the anterior side. Sometimes we are going to the entire algal structure, single cell is enclosed by the flagella, or sometimes they are present only at the anterior side, or they may be present at anterior as well as posterior. Like that we are going to observe the flagella were referred as the organ of locomotion. And we are going to observe this is the chloroplast, and this chloroplast is a site of photosynthesis. They are associated with the thylakoids. And these thylakoids contain a pigment called chlorophyll, and that chlorophyll A, if it is abundant in nature, then we call them as green alga. If the amount of chlorophyll and xanthophyll, if we consider xanthophyll is more than the chlorophyll, then we call them as the Phaeophyceae members. If the red erythrin, phycoerythrin, if it is more than the chlorophyll, then they are called as the red alga, Rhodophyceae members. And another characteristic feature that is pyrenoid here, this is always attached to the structure called chloroplast. This pyrenoid is associated with the chloroplast and it contains ribulose 1,5-biphosphate carboxylase, and this enzyme helps for the synthesis of that is carbon metabolism, helps for the synthesis of carbohydrate and helps in the storage of proteins as well as carbohydrates. Then we are going to observe the eye spot. This eye spot, part of chloroplast, it directs the cell towards the light. We need to consider this because of eye spot, cell move towards the light. These are some characteristic features. Then variation in the pigment that contains, if you consider the chlorophyll, that is green pigment, carotenoids, brown, yellow or red in nature, phycobilins, red pigments, ಅದರೊಳಗಡೆ ಫೈಕೋಬಿಲಿನ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ರೆಡ್ ಪಿಗ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಫೈಕೋಎರಿಥ್ರಿನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಬ್ಲೂ ಪಿಗ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಫೈಕೋಸಯಾನಿನ್ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. And we are going to consider here the first lecture I have given general introduction regarding the alga. Today's lecture is lecture 2, and here what we have studied is the forms of alga. They are unicellular as well as multicellular in nature. And under unicellular, we have observed two different types, motile alga as well as non-motile alga. For example, motile alga, Euglena, Chlamydomonas, Chlorella, that we are going to observe. For non-motile unicellular alga, chlorella is a very good example. And these multicellular alga were again classified into different groups, that is colonies, aggregations, filaments, cenocytic, then parenchymatous, pseudoparenchymatous, and erectophalus. This parenchymatous here, the term directly derived in the form of a Greek word. And while writing English, we are going to observe CH, and here while writing with respect to Greek and Latin language, it is referred as K itself. That is colonies, aggregations, palmelloid, dendroid, amoeboid type of aggregations. And there are filamentous. In that filamentous, we are going to observe branched filamentous and unbranched filamentous that we are going to observe. That is cenocytic example. That is the alga with a filamentous nature without any cross wall. Many nuclei were suspended in a single cytoplasmic mass. Such alga are called as cenocytic. And pseudoparenchymatous example, we are having Batrachospermum, and erectophalus we are having Cara. This is all about today's class. If you are having any queries, you can again we try to identify the alga. This is the Euglena, and this is the Volvox, and this is Spirogyra. This is the macroscopic alga found in the sewage. And as already mentioned, the classification of alga. The classification of alga is basically on the color, that is pigmentation present in the numbers. That is basically we are going to observe type of chlorophyll, either that contains chlorophyll A or chlorophyll B or chlorophyll C or chlorophyll D or chlorophyll E. Based on the type of the chlorophyll, we are going to classify the alga into various groups. Now again we are going to consider food storage, whether it is starch, Floridian starch, or as you already studied in the first PUC. And based on the type of the chlorophyll, based on the type of the storage substances, and again we are going to consider wall composition, cell wall composition. By considering these four characteristic features, we are going to classify the alga into 7 different types. And if you look into the general reproduction, in most of the alga, we are going to reproduce both sexually as well as asexual methods. Most sexual reproduction is always triggered by environmental stress, and asexual reproduction occurs by mitosis. And sexual reproduction always occurs through the process called meiosis, or by the formation of zoospore, or by the fusion of plus and minus gametes, or by the formation of zygospores. These are some aspects that you need to consider for the reproduction. And I'm going to end the class now. We will continue it in the next class. If you are having any queries,